Since then, I've gotten no replies from his email. If anyone knows the status of Artie Bigley, please let us know. I believe his full name is George Arthur Bigley, B-I-G-L-E-Y. Concerning the shortwave broadcasts of Radio Tirana, Albania, via WRMI, there have been some changes. Former evening broadcasts at 0230 or 0130 UT have been replaced by something else, but still on the schedule at 2030 UT on 15770. So I made a point of checking that on Tuesday, April 14th, and indeed did hear Radio Tirana opening in English with a newscast, but that was only 8 minutes. After that, there was music fill, originating at WRMI and not Albania in this case. I later found that what I heard was exactly identical to 8 minutes of news, which Radio Tirana had provided as a podcast for that date. So it appears they are only putting out news and not feature or musical programming. However, Alan Rowe has been checking the podcasts every day for the past few weeks. That was the case on April 14th, but on the previous days, they did have other feature programming. There is another broadcast now of Radio Tirana via WRMI 2 hours later at 2230 UT on 7780. However, beware, not all of these may be appearing every day of the week when there is higher priority programming. Argentina non, more anomalies here. The release via WRMI. Now shown on the schedule grid is an hour at 0230 UT on 5800 only, nominally in Spanish. And in fact, it was on the air, and I did hear it, UT April 14th, but it was their Made in Casa program, as they refer to it in English and other languages, a curious mixture of two languages in the name, meaning homemade, featuring portions in all 8 of the languages that RAI uses, introduced in Spanish and outroduced in Spanish, and also English in the middle by the same announcer, Fernando Farias. However, something went wrong, I guess. The following 2 nights during this hour, there was no RAI, but something else, music fill, or other programming. Another hour you might try is 21 UT on 9395, which had been nominally the Italian service only. Ron Hard notes that Bougainville is still not being heard on 3325. Not sure if it's coming back or what the problem is there, but if you do hear a station on 3325, it may well be instead the Voice of Indonesia. Claudio Galas in Chile reports his latest logs of that pirate in Chile, RCW, including a new frequency, but it's in the daytime, 7305. Heard April 12th from 1750 to 1830 with information from Radio Bio Bio. He also heard them on 7710, April 10th, 2040 to 2100 with instrumental music. The first daily broadcast in English from Radio Havana, Cuba at 19 UT is supposed to be only on 15140. That frequency is often distorted. On April 13th at 1950 UT, I heard English on an additional frequency, 15370 on the air earlier than supposed to be with good audio. So check that one as well. Something is always wrong at RHC. Stig Hartvig Nielsen reports to Hardcore DX on his low-power shortwave station in Denmark. After having been silent since last September, World Music Radio is back on 15805, using a 3-element Yagi beam south every Saturday and Sunday from 07 to 20 UT, power 200 watts. But the signal is audible almost worldwide for dedicated DXers. Sometimes 15805 suffers from interference from a Chinese station on 15800. It could be short-skip propagation, providing excellent reception in Central Europe. He says there are 2 reasons for WMR being off-air from shortwave for several months. The Danish telecom agency refused to issue a new license to utilize out-of-band frequencies on a non-interference basis. This issue was, however, settled. Second problem, a storm which damaged the Yagi area. It was repaired a few days ago, and it now works very well again from the transmitter site just north of Randers in eastern Jutland, Denmark. The second shortwave frequency, 5840, is expected to be back on the air from a new transmitter site by the end of April, says Stig Hartvig Nielsen. It would be quite a feat to hear either frequency direct in North America, but we might have a chance as long as WTWW is not testing on 15810, where they have not been for some months. There have been some other reports of it from Europe. Manuel Mendez reports. heard Sunday, April 12th at 0712 with a very weak signal. Pop songs and ID improving at 0950. Ivo Ivanov in Bulgaria reports it April 12th at 1050 and 1223. Very poor and terrible with synchro detection on his ICF 2001D. Ron Aaron in California reports Equatorial Guinea 5005. RNGE Radio Bata, April 10th, coming on the air at 0519 and heard until 0540. Audio level nicely above threshold, he says, a rare band in Spanish with some music, an outstanding day for them. Ivo Ivanov says the clandestine Oromia media network for Ethiopia is no longer being heard via the shortwave site near him, Bulgaria, on 11990. It had been scheduled at 15 until 16 UT. Probably canceled as of April 1st and still not being heard as of April 10th. Joe's Jacob of DX India says there's a tender for a new 50 kilowatt shortwave transmitter for all Indian radio in Kurseong. According to a notice from the government, transmissions on shortwave were terminated on July 30th of last year. Used to operate on 4895, also 3355 and 7230. They had a 50 and a 20 kilowatt shortwave transmitter. Although external shortwave services of all India radio were closed down due to the lockdown in India, Joe's Jacob has been hearing the 500 kilowatt site at Bengaluru testing at certain times, 1348 UT on 9690 and 9950, then also 6140 and 9865, and even DRM and 7550. Programming was only the Vivid Bharati Entertainment Service. And all went off at 1410. There was another test of the same 4 AM channels, April 16th, starting at 1000. As of April 10th, Ivo Ivanov observes this schedule for Iran International TV, clandestine, relayed on shortwave, originating in London, however. He says the transmitter site is Armenia. It's a 24-hour schedule, 400 kilowatts at 100 degrees inversion, 04 to 12 on 11570, and 12 to 4 on 6270. The Rusty X Series news of an interesting webcasting station in Israel. It's called Radio Dusha Kafkaza, meaning Soul of the Caucasus. First of all, the best music of the Caucasus, chanson and hits. All songs and music are selected with soul by the directors and operators of the station. The slogan is Holiday in Every Song, fully justified. Broadcasts from the Israeli city of Rishon LeZion, where there are only 3 stations. Radio Soul of the Caucasus is non-profit. The presenters do not receive a salary. It's only a hobby for them, their favorite pastime. It's been on the air since 2012, and here's their website, www.kavkazportal.com. Radar has been trying to monitor the low-powered JG2XA, the HF Doppler research project in Japan, on 8006 and 5006 kilohertz. For a while, he was only hearing one of the frequencies, and then on April 14 and 15, most of them were missing. He got a reply from Komatsubara Hiroyuki in Japan explaining it. Maybe they cannot broadcast because they are banned from attending school until May 7th due to you-know-what. It's at the University of Electrocommunications. Broadcasts from NHK World Radio Japan have also been virally disrupted, it seems. Mike Newland in Kentucky says on April 10th, tuned in at 1307 UT on 11685 when there was English World News. And it continued until 1315, although the Singapore relay shows the language from 13 to 1345 is supposed to be Bengali. It may have changed to that after the news in English and a Japanese language learning program. And Alan Rowe in England says, I listened to NHK in English, April 12th at 05 UT on 5975 via Austria, starting as usual with a news broadcast, but actually it was audio of NHK World Japan Newsline, a TV program, rather than the usual radio news broadcast. I realized this when they were referring to on-screen activity. And the French transmission, April 12th at 2030 on 7425 via France, had news in English instead of French. And again, it was audio from the TV program Newsline. Then they went back to French. I can only guess these changes are yet another consequence of the COVID-19 pandemic. Harold Sellers in BC says Shokazi Sea Breeze, the clandestine from Japan to Korea northbound abductions, was heard on Thursday, April 9th, with their weekly English hour at 13:38 UT. Muffled audio and a monotone voice did not help with intelligibility. 6040 was poor, parallel 6070 fair. Ron Howard laments that since they're on 6040, it completely blocks reception of PBS Nemengu, the Mongolian service from China, starting at 1300 until 14. But North Korean jamming of Shokaze is usually on for a much longer period of time, also bad for PBS. Shokaze often makes poor frequency choices. PBS Nemengu is parallel to 7270. Ron Howard reports on clandestine from North to South Korea, echo of unification, heard April 13th at 1210 on 5905, replacing 3945, and parallel to 6250, both about equal strength. 6250 in the clear as the clandestine from South to North Korea, echo of Opus on 6255. The other frequencies for that, as of Monday, April 13th, change every week: 3985, 4890, 5995, 6350, 9105, heard at 0940. And a few minutes later, its sibling station, Voice of the People, 3485, 3915, 3930, 4450, 6520, and 6600. Bill Holmes in Maryland, who used to live in South Korea, says things have certainly changed in the QSLing world. On April 15th, I received an automated QSL card from KBS World Radio in 3 minutes. Yes, only 3 minutes. After the end of their broadcast, using their Korean language online reception report form. The transaction took less than 5 seconds after I clicked on the submit button. It was 9740. While I understand the convenience of doing it this way, I miss the human touch when no one on the other end looks at my report and sends back a reply. Although if we're honest with ourselves, QSLs are nothing but souvenirs and not legal documents. Although this maintains some level of listener contact, I question the value of this automated setup. Will it auto-reply to anything? Someone should try submitting totally wrong information and see if they verify it. The media magazine you monitor with your mind. World of Radio 2030. A non-commercial service, as is our website, worldofradio.com. Many thanks this week for generous financial support from Gerald T. Pollard in North Carolina, who sent a U.S. dollar check to Glenn Hauser, P.O. Box 1684, ENID OK 73702. One may also contribute via PayPal, not necessarily in U.S. funds, to WORADIO at yahoo.com. I, Kabelgard in Germany, use the remote receiver provided by TWR in South Africa for a number of interesting logins, including Radio Madagascar 5009.92, April 10th at 1827. African music, short, fast IDs between songs, enjoyable listening. News at 1901 about Subject V. Also heard on April 11th, Saturday at 1856, multiple IDs. Despite the spelling of Madagascar, it sounds like they just pronounce it in Malagasy, Madagascar. No French was heard at all. They transmit longer on Saturdays, still running with reports at 2040, and with cheesy pop music at 2217. That's after 1 a.m. local time. Mexico, April 15th at 0135. I was hearing XCPPM better than usual on its slightly minus frequency, 6185. Music undermodulated but almost sufficient. And on this occasion, no interference from Brazil, which was off, 6180. Then I get this message from Julian Santiago Diaz de Morilla in Mexico City on April 16th. Radio Educación 6185, Cultura Mexico, is going to broadcast from 20 until 08 UT. There's been an important improvement in its signal. They're already using the 10 kilowatt transmitter. They may adjust the schedule depending on the results. And Ron Howard soon confirms 6184.96. Started at 0734, April 16th, with a Dean Martin pop song and good audio. The early season, sporadic EFMDX opening across North America occurred April 15th. certainly on HF and extending into VHF. I was hearing 93.3 from Veracruz, which is Exa FM, and 2 or 3 other Mexicans, probably also in Veracruz State. That was at 1911 UT. Of course, 6 meters was also open, and I was hearing XE2 NBW in Monterrey making quick contacts in English at 2208 on 50135 USB. North American Power Station YHWH continues quite active in the evenings on 7475. Eric Fetters of Alpin, Lake Stevens, Washington reports Josiah at 0246 UT, April 10. Same night at 0327 tune in while Samanu says, excellent tonight into Victoria, BC, as good as I ever hear him. And reported almost every night by Rick Barton in Arizona, various times around 03 to past 04 UT. But not on UT April 11th, as Walt says, he often takes Friday nights off. Now we have confirmation about why we're not hearing Radio Pilipinas worldwide. Joe's Jacob in India says he got a reply via their disgraced FB page saying, good day, Jacob. Due to the implementation of enhanced community quarantine in the Philippines, shortwave airing of Radio Pilipinas worldwide is temporarily unavailable. But Radio Romania International is still running. Craig Crest received this from them on April 1st. Dear RRI friend, we hope our message finds you well in good health and determined to overcome the sad times we are all going through. Here at RRI, we promise to stand by you as long as we can and bring you new and interesting programs. For the period, we will not be able to produce any new shows. We have prepared a selection of our best programs that will be replayed for you wherever you may be. On our website, you can also enjoy RRI's 2020 collection of QSL cards and individual cards for January, February, March, and April. The 2020 collection features Romanian coins and banknotes starting from 1867 to 1931. We invite you to share with us and other listeners how you are coping with the crisis, what measures have been enforced in your country, or anything you may want to share. Your messages will be included, as always, in our regular Listeners Letterbox show. And you'll find the full schedule for that via the worldofradio.com website, DXSWL Media Programs page. About the clandestine Radio Nyawa Sarawak on 11890, which had been airing via Uzbekistan at 10 to 12 UT on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Ivanov says it's not been heard since March 30th, so has it been canceled or rescheduled? Ron Howard replies that their website indicates a change in scheduling. From April 6th to 10th, they had 1-hour shows at 10 to 11 every day, not just NWF. And still listed on 11890 to be reconfirmed. Then Ron Howard received a further reply from them on April 14th. We are off the air for a month or so as Malaysia is facing a lockdown due to COVID-19. We'll be back on air once things improve. In the meantime, we are still putting out a show Monday through Friday online. Best wishes from RNS. Scotland None, Bryce Avery advises another new time for his Encore Classical Music Show on Radio Tumbril via WRMI. Thursday at 20 to 21 UT on 15770 toward Europe. Unfortunately, this will preempt what has been airing at that time, at least on Thursdays, Radio Prague and Radio Tirana. Other times on WRMI remain UT Sunday at 01 on 5850 and 5010, and UT Monday at 02 on 9455, Tuesday at 13 also on 15770, plus several times via channel 292 in Germany. Ivo Ivanov says all frequencies of Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation are not registered in A20 HFCC. And his monitoring of some of the previous transmissions shows a couple of frequencies missing, at least on April 9th. No 11750 at 1630 to 1830, no 11835 at 17 to 18. However, they were being heard at 1115 to 12 on 9695, and another one to be confirmed is 0115 to 0230 on 11905, none of them in English. Ron Howard says, first time I've heard this interesting station, iRadio, E-Y-E, 7340. April 10th from 0432 to cut off at 0457. HSCC says the site is Madagascar, but Alki says Vatican. It was in English and vernacular. Coverage of the president's speech about a woman who works for the UN and the COVID-19 virus involved. Ron Howard reports unusual reception of Fuxing Broadcasting Station Taiwan on both its frequencies, 9410 and 9774. April 12th until both went off at 10 UT, that was on a Sunday. Via Bruce Churchill, it seems, they're running both frequencies until 1000 only on Sundays. Otherwise, 9410 goes off at 09. Contrary to their own announcement, but confirmed by my monitoring and WRMI schedule, the 0200 to 230 new relay of Radio Taiwan in Spanish is on 4 WRMI frequencies, not just one. 5010, 5800, 7780, and 9395. Something's always erroneous at Emmerlair on April 10th. I found the Voice of Turkey English broadcast on 9830, signing on at 2230 instead of 2200, and it cut off the air at 2300. As if he didn't have enough on his mind, acting President Trump attacked the Voice of America on April 10th, blasting it for airing Chinese propaganda. There's been a lot of coverage of this in the Washington Post, Politico.com, and elsewhere, thanks to David Cole. Read all about it. And also VOA Director Amanda Bennett's detailed rebuttal at InsideVOA.com. Under current scheduling, there is only one VOA broadcast in English from North Carolina. It's at to Africa at 17 to 1830 UT on 17530. On a good day, we can hear it off the back, not as well as we used to hear 15580 or 11720. Due to maintenance on the 5130 transmitter, WBCQ had to take it off the air and replace it with 6160 for Area 51 and other programming, including World of Radio, last UT Monday, April 13th at 0300. Actually, the frequency varies slightly on the low side, around 6159.91, and still on the substitute frequency as of April 15th. Mark your calendar for May 5th. I received this from Alan and Angela on April 9th. Hi Glenn, radio has been a beacon of hope and a way to spread good feelings in bad times for over a century. In that spirit, WBCQ The Planet will present WBCQ's big broadcast of 2020, a special simulcast of 5130 and 7490 on Tuesday, May 5th from 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. That would be 21 to 22 UT. It will feature presenters and music of some of WBCQ's most innovative music offerings, including Marion's Attic, Uncle Bill's Melting Pot, From the Isle of Music, Behavior Night, and the Lost Discs radio show. A chance to escape COVID-19 gloom for an hour and maybe discover a new favorite program in the bargain. Hope you are well and safe. Alan and Angela. Vern Jackson, who provides World of Radio twice each Saturday on WA0RCR, 1860 AM, has some news about the FCC license revocation of 4 St. Louis area stations. KQQZ 1190 remained on the air with normal programming as of Saturday afternoon, April 11th. KZQZ 1430 ceased programming on Tuesday, April 7th. The transmitter was shut off around noon or 1 p.m. But the next day it was on the air with a dead carrier at 50 kilowatts, but no programming. It may be automated with no one available knowing how to disable it, and may continue until power is shut off. The next day, 1190 was also in a dead carrier. The other two, KFTK 1490 East St. Louis, ceased operation as soon as revocation and is off for good. 1510 in Highland, Illinois went off due to technical issues in early March and has been silent, so its license has already expired legally. More about hearing Radio Vanuatu on harmonics, multiples of its regular frequencies. Chris Martin in Brisbane reports on April 10th. Radio Vanuatu is getting out on 3 harmonics from 3945, 7890, 11835, and 15780. 11835 is a good signal here in Brisbane with a morning and evening transmitter off their 3945 frequency. So if that frequency can put out second, third, and fourth harmonics, it may also occur when they are on the other fundamentals. So I've calculated the following possibilities to be checked. When they're on 2485, check 4970, 7455, and 9940. When they're on 5040, check 10080, 15120, and 20160. And if they're on 7260, it could show up on 14520, 21780, 29040. Ron Howard in California was able to hear 7890 parallel to 3945 April 13th until it went off 14 seconds before 10 UT. That's how it took them to change to the next frequency, 2485. In fact, on April 16th, Ron Howard says the harmonic was better than 3945 for an hour, starting at 0632. Manuel Mendez in Spain has also been monitoring Vanuatu via remote receivers, but says, although they're on the air 24 hours, the frequency change schedule is unpredictable. Ron Howard reports one of the Vietnamese coastal stations, believed to be Ho Chi Minh Radio, 8812 USB, April 13th. At 1246 to 1248, 2 minutes of marine coastal conditions in Vietnamese, followed by 2 minutes in English at 1248 to 1250 from the Hong Kong Observatory. One more reminder to be on the lookout for sporadic EDX, not only on HF, but VHF up into the FM band, as I experienced the afternoon of April 15th. After getting Mexico, I was also getting some Florida stations. Terry Kruger in Niceville, the Florida Panhandle, was logging several Mexicans on the morning of April 14th and 15th. And even Guatemala, Emisoras Unidas, 89.7, April 14th at 1414. The non-sporadic unrelated propagation outlet from Boulder issued April 13th, geomagnetic field, likely to reach active conditions April 26th and 27th, with A and K indices peaking at 10 and 4, and May 5th, 12 and 4. Solar flux 68, except for a peak to 70 from April 24th to May 8th. And that's World of Radio 2030. Glenn Hauser inviting you to hear me next week with a standard disclaimer.
Hello and welcome to Wavescan, the international DX program from Adventist World Radio. We open Wavescan today with the national anthem of Paraguay, which is on our agenda today. This program was researched and written in Indianapolis by Adrian Peterson and produced in the studios of WRMI Shortwave in Okeechobee, Florida. I'm Jeff White. This is edition NWS 582 for release on Sunday, April 19, 2020. On our program outline for today, Ray Robinson will have Paraguay on medium wave. Jerry Plummer and I will be along with more from the HFCC conference in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. And Salahuddin Dalar will be here with our Bangladesh DX report. All that, among other things, on Wavescan today. In our program 3 weeks back, we presented our initial program regarding the radio scene in the South American country of Paraguay. In that program, we focused on the origins of shortwave broadcasting in this, one of South America's smaller countries, beginning in 1935. Here's Ray Robinson now to pick up the story.
Thanks, Jeff. In our program today, we're covering the long wave and medium wave story beginning way back around the era of World War I. Back then, as in so many other countries around the world, the army in Paraguay experimented with wireless transmissions in what we now call the long wave band. These transmissions in Paraguay were all in standard Morse code, though with variations according to the needs of the language in use at the time. There were difficulties at times for those who were using the local languages and dialects in wireless transmission. Next on the communication scene in Paraguay were the amateur radio operators who were experimenting with the transmission of voice and music. The very first successful transmission of music in Paraguay was presented on shortwave in 1922 by station CXZ27, which was operated by Alfonso Starr and Ernesto Strick in the capital city, Asunción. This low-power historic radio broadcast of music and news was heard in San Bernardino, some 30 miles distant. During the next 4 years, there were several radio stations licensed in Paraguay, mainly in Asunción, and they each operated under a regularly issued call sign in the form of the two initial letters ZP, followed by a number. However, none of these early stations survived into longevity, due mainly to lack of sufficient funding. For example, one of these somewhat temporary stations was Radio Cultura, ZP1, with its studios in Asunción. This station was inaugurated in 1926, and on March the 17th, a special concert program was broadcast from the presidential palace. The details of this pioneer broadcast were featured the next day in the daily Spanish-language newspaper in Asunción, El Orden. However, due to the paucity of quality programming over the few available medium-wave stations in Paraguay back in the 1930s, many of those people who had sufficient resources to own a radio receiver would tune into the radio programs that were on the air from nearby Buenos Aires in Argentina. Very popular with Paraguayans were the long musical concerts from Buenos Aires, both live and recorded. In fact, several notable musicians in Paraguay traveled to Buenos Aires in order to perform in radio broadcasts that could be heard back in their homeland. Due to war in Europe and also to variable circumstances within Paraguay itself, the government cancelled most radio broadcasting licenses in 1941. All that is except for Radio Caritas, CP11, which is 250 watts on 1200 kilohertz. And then during the following year, 1942, the government established its own radio broadcasting system under the title Radio Nacional. During the later war years, there were half a dozen medium-wave stations on the air in Paraguay. And then from that time onwards, the number of medium-wave stations throughout Paraguay has gradually increased, almost quite regularly until today. In spite of the introduction of FM broadcasting in the 1990s, the World Radio TV Handbook still shows a list of 51 medium-wave stations on the air in Paraguay, surprisingly more than at any other time in the entire history of the country. Currently, Radio Nacional provides nationwide coverage with the same programming via two medium-wave channels, 920 kHz and 700 kHz. The main station in the Asunción area is ZP1, with either 100 kilowatts or 20 kilowatts on 920 kHz. And the relay station, located at Pilar, almost against the border with Argentina in the southwest of the country, is ZP12, with 12 kilowatts on 700 kilohertz. The radio broadcasting station with the longest continuous history in Paraguay is Radio Caritas, which was inaugurated in a building on the property of the San Francisco Church in Asunción on November the 21st, 1936. This early Radio Caritas, with its locally made transmitter, was inaugurated by the Franciscan priest Luis Lavarelle under the registered call sign ZP11, and it was on the air with educational and religious programming mainly for the benefit of local children. In 1986, the studios were transferred to a new location at 364 Calle Luis A. Herrera, still in the capital city area. At that same time, a new 10-kilowatt Tramec transmitter from Buenos Aires, still on the same 1200 kHz, was installed at suburban Nembi. And then 6 years later again, on March 2nd, 1992, Radio Caritas CP11 inaugurated a completely new medium wave station with a 10-kilowatt Lensa transmitter from Chile and a new quarter wavelength antenna standing 360 feet tall. During the year 2000, the studios were transferred to the Catholic University in Asunción. The programming link from studio to transmitter is a standard low-power FM transmitter. For a period of some 18 years, Radio Caritas also operated a shortwave transmitter, ZPA11, at its medium-wave location at Nembi. Shortwave programming on ZPA11 was always in parallel with the medium-wave transmitter ZP11. The shortwave transmitter was a copy of an old Collins unit made locally, and it operated with 1.5 kilowatts on 6110 kHz. Medium-wave Radio Caritas is still on the air to this day, and it now operates with 50 kilowatts on 680 kHz. The studios are installed in the Catholic University in Asunción, and the transmitters are located at Nembi, some 15 miles out. The next time we visit the radio scene in Paraguay, we'll take a look at shortwave broadcasting there since World War II. But for now, it's back to you, Jeff.
Thank you, Ray Robinson at KVOH in Los Angeles. Ray also sends us some timely news here. These items are from Glenn Hauser's World of Radio DX Listening Digest, and a few items from the British DX Club as well. Alan Pennington of the British DX Club said that after being alerted by Radio New Zealand RNZ Pacific on the morning of April 7th that a tropical cyclone was hitting the islands of Vanuatu, they said Cyclone Harold made landfall on the Vanuatu island of Santo yesterday, April 6th, with destructive winds as high as 235 kilometers per hour. Well, after hearing that, I tuned into Radio Vanuatu shortwave frequencies this morning via the Northland New Zealand Kiwi SDR and found they were still on the air. At 0940 UTC, they were on 3945 kilohertz, then switched to 2485 kilohertz at 1000 UTC. Programming included tropical cyclone bulletins, including in French, then in English at 1026 UTC. At 1030 UTC, they switched to music until 1101 when they signed off for the night with their anthem. And he recorded part of the English cyclone bulletin.
The tropical cyclone Harold has been moving in an southeast direction at 1 kilometer per hour or 10 knots in the past 3 hours. The Vanuatu National Disaster Management Office in the mall advises people over the central provinces to take extra care and continue to listen to Radio Vanuatu or any further queries. This will be the final information on severe tropical cyclone Harold unless the system turns back towards Vanuatu.
A cyclone bulletin there from Radio Vanuatu. Ron Howard in California said that he checked for Radio Vanuatu on April 7th on 2485 kilohertz at 1146 UTC. He found them with another day of extended broadcasting. Reception was poor in California. Also from Glenn Hauser's DX Listening Digest, an item from Brian Clark in Mangawe, New Zealand, who said that Radio Vanuatu was still on despite the cyclone when he checked on April 8th. This is from the British DX Club as well. It says Radio Vanuatu 2485 kilohertz, a solid signal at 1755 UTC. Tune in here in New Zealand on 9 April. Continuous pop vocals past 1805. No doubt continuing extended schedule following the extensive damage wrought by Tropical Cyclone Harold. And one other item via Glenn Hauser's DX Listening Digest is from Chris Martin in Brisbane, Australia. He says, good morning, Glenn. Just a quick note to say Radio Vanuatu is getting out on 3 harmonics of their 3945 kilohertz transmitter on 7890, 11835, and 15780. The 11835 kilohertz spur is a good signal here in Brisbane with their morning and evening transmission off their 3945 kilohertz frequency. Thanks to those reporters, and thanks to Glenn Hauser's DX Listening Digest. By the way, the stream on the Radio Vanuatu website was not working at the time of this recording. And we want to acknowledge a quick comment here from our good friend Anker Peterson in Denmark. He wrote to our editor, Adrian Peterson, and said, thank you for your excellent history of Vanuatu on Wayscan. I hope you're well in these corona crisis times, as I am, here in Denmark. Well, good to hear that, Anker Peterson in Denmark. Last week on the program, Jerry Plummer of WWCR and I were discussing the opening day of the A20 Shortwave Frequency Coordination Conference in Malaysia. Today, we continue that conversation.
This was just so many strange things happened all at once.
Mm-hmm. And then the sometime in the coming years, the Chinese may try to have another conference.
I bet they will, because they felt bad about this. They couldn't do anything about it. But I know when one of them had the letter that they'd sent, they really were sorry that this had happened. But how can you change it? I mean, I suspect they would like to. How do you say recoup that? At some point in the future.
And still, a lot of people were afraid to maybe even come here to Malaysia for the conference.
I know in 2003 when all the SARS stuff was going on, you remember that?
Yeah.
That's when I made my first trip to Taiwan.
Oh.
And there was, I'll never forget, going from Tokyo to Taiwan, there was a man on the plane that developed SARS.
Oh.
And when the plane was almost at Taiwan, when it set down, they locked everybody in. They moved the men out immediately.
Mm.
And then getting off the plane, they kind of did, check your temperature. And I thought, well, this international travel is certainly unique,
But nothing happened to you or anybody else on the plane?
No, nothing happened at all.
And speaking of Malaysia here, and our folks from the ABU, Asia Pacific Broadcasting Union, which is headquartered here and hosting this conference, were telling me that Radio Television Malaysia still has a little bit of shortwave on the air.
They do. Yeah, that's what he was saying.
But I think they're mainly relaying domestic stations.
I think they are. That's what I got, is that they're still doing some shortwave broadcasting, but it's relays of what's on existing FM or medium wave.
And probably not in English.
I bet not in English. I bet you're right. I bet you're right.
Here in the hotel, was checking, I don't know if you haven't had a chance yet, but was checking the TV channels, and really, other than the movie channels, the only thing in English is BBC World News.
It definitely is. I did get a chance to take, like you, I always bring a shortwave radio with me. Myself and my friend Lynn, she brought one also. And we typically always bring a cheap one, just to see how it's going to work. And I got to say that it's a little Kato that she paid, I think, $7 for. And I've been picking up Radio China on it from the 9th floor of the hotel. Yeah, it's
do you, can you get your antenna out the window or not?
No, I've just got it touching at the window because this place is just full of RF, Jeff. You know that. It is. I couldn't pick up anything at all in the room, but when I took it next to the window up on the 9th floor, there is plenty of Radio China coming in, scattered across the dial.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can all agree that's the biggest user of frequencies, probably.
You can hear China Radio International all over the world, that's for sure.
They're like in 80, 90, 100 languages. I mean, they're even in Finnish, you know. Yeah. But yeah, it's actually been picking up. I couldn't pick up any of your frequencies or mine, but neither of us aim over here.
Yeah,
to
it's
that.
difficult in this area, yeah.
If
we get an occasional reply, I'm sure you do too, from people. There's a DXer here in near Kuala Lumpur who sends reports all the time.
You get ones like that, you know, that periodically, and I don't know, I can't remember what George Ross called it, something like...
Trump is something or other.
Ducting or something. But we will periodically get reception reports from over here, and they will send an MP3. So yeah, I guess just in passing, what do you think about getting email or getting a QSL request from people who really aren't listening to it on shortwave, and they're not listening to it from their home?
This is interesting because we've had a lot of reports lately from places like China who are listening, and some people apparently are listening, you know, directly on shortwave radio, but a lot of people, and not just in China, but in other countries, are listening on these online SDR receivers.
Yeah.
And so they may not be able to pick up our signal over here in Asia very well, or not at all, but they can tune in, to Amsterdam, in the Netherlands, or wherever the remote receiver is, and listen to your program. So they're kind of listening to it on shortwave via the internet.
But they're kind of not.
I know, and they request QSL cards, and so...
I have mixed emotions about that in some ways. I think it's something that both of us have only been seeing the last year or two, maybe, something like that. But with the first one I got, I thought, wow, I can't believe we're getting one from Malaysia. But they were listening to it in New York City on SDR, and I just don't think that's a QSL.
Yeah. I think a lot of people just want a souvenir. They just want a postcard, from the station.
I understand.
So we usually send them out, but sometimes you can put, location. Sometimes you can put reception location wherever the SDR.
Yeah, right. So in effect, it's sort of a QSL.
Semi-QSL. I was speaking there with Jerry Plummer, the frequency manager for WWCR shortwave in Tennessee and for the Caribbean Beacon in Anguilla. We'll have more from the HFCC A20 conference in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, next week. Hans Johnson of WINB shortwave said he was listening to last week's conversation with Jerry and I, talking about Sofia, Bulgaria, where the next HFCC conference is supposedly going to take place at the end of August, depending on the coronavirus. Well, Hans says, I have been there, Sofia, many times, and I have an interest in history. The reviewing stand for the old Soviet-era parades was from a building that no longer exists. If you go behind the Sheraton, which is now the Marriott Sofia Balkan Hotel, where the HFCC conference is supposed to be, there is a large empty space used for parking. That was where the Georgy Dimitrov mausoleum was, which was the reviewing stand. It was demolished in 1999. There was a red star on top of the Parliament building. It was taken out in the early 1990s. Where you see the statue of Sofia now, there was a statue of Lenin. It was about the same size. I'm hopeful that you guys are able to have your conference in August. Well, we'll see. We'll see how things go between now and then. But a very interesting place indeed it is. And incidentally, right inside that hotel where the conference will be are the ruins of an old Orthodox church. And also in the plaza right in front of the hotel, there is a big cathedral, Orthodox cathedral, also the Sveta Nedelya Church. Some news now from the Philippines, and this is from Joseph Jacob at the National Institute of Amateur Radio in Hyderabad, India. He says he received a reply from Radio Filipinas worldwide through their Facebook page in response to his inquiry about the status of their shortwave broadcast. They said, "Good day. Due to the implementation of enhanced community quarantine in the Philippines, shortwave airing of Radio Filipinas worldwide is temporarily unavailable. And Jose, by the way, says, as you know, there's a full nationwide lockdown in India. Only essential services are open. Our office of the National Institute of Amateur Radio is also, of course, closed. I'm working from home, not checking office emails, etc. I also spend time with radio, TV, internet, and of course, more time with the family as confined to home now. Thank you, Jose. And now let's go to Bangladesh. Here's Salavan Damar with DX News.
Dear listeners and radio hobbyists, welcome you to the Bangladesh DX report of this month of April 2020. This is Salahuddin Dollar from the beautiful city Rajshahi, Bangladesh. Glad to be back and thanks for listening. The receiving log of different radio stations, which I monitored here in Bangladesh. March 29th, Radio Tehran Bangla was heard at 1503 UTC on 9810 kHz. The SIO rating was 333. Reports on corona effect in Iran and the rest of the world was aired. Adventist World Radio Nepali language service was heard at 1510 UTC on 9740 kHz. The SIO rating was 555. Station ID and phone number was given at 1513 UTC. Radio Taiwan International English language program was heard at 1605 UTC on 9405 kHz. The SIO rating was 444. World News was aired. Adventist World Radio Urdu language program was heard at 1605 to 1615 UTC on 11800 kHz. The SIO rating was 333. Discussion of Jesus was aired. March 30. Bangladesh Betar domestic service in Bangla at 1320 to 1330 UTC on 4750 kHz. The SIO rating was 444. Agricultural program was aired. April 1st, China Radio International Chinese language program was heard at 0120 to 0130 UTC on 15140 kHz. The SIO rating was 444. ID was given at 0126 UTC. After that, Chinese song was played. Our friend Mr. Pradeep Chandra Kundu from Agartala, Tripura, India has monitored few stations at his home. Here are the details. April 1st, Radio Free Asia Chinese language program was heard at 1715 UTC on 9970 kHz. The SIO rating was 333. Instrumental music was aired. April 2nd, Voice of America Burmese language program was heard at 0130 UTC on 7305 kHz. The SIO rating was 444. Discussion on coronavirus was aired. Voice of Turkey Urdu language program was heard at 1237 UTC on 13710 kHz. The SIO rating was 343. Turkish music was played. Adventist World Radio Uzbek language program was heard at 0355 UTC on 15410 kHz. The SIO rating was 444. April 3rd, FIBA Radio Hindi service Hindi music was heard at 1430 UTC on 9500 kHz. The SIO rating was 444. Voice of America Tibetan language program with closing announcement was heard at 1658 UTC on 9965 kHz. The SIO code was 343. Bangladesh DX team will issue EQSL card for the correct reception report of this segment. Please send your reception report to dxbangla@gmail.com. I repeat again, dxbangla@gmail.com. Okay friends, I will come again in the next month. Till then, take care. Salahuddin Dollar, Rajshahi, Bangladesh.
Thank you very much, Salahuddin Dollar from Bangladesh. Well, Well, thank you for listening to Wavescan Today, the international DX program from Adventist World Radio. We leave you with some music from Cambodia. This program was researched and written in Indianapolis by Dr. Adrian Peterson. Next week, we return to the radio scene in the South Pacific island nation of Vanuatu, the story of Radio Vila in the New Hebrides. Also, our ancient DX report for 1921 and our Australian DX report as well. A reminder, we have several QSL cards available for Wavescan. Send your AWR and KSDA reception reports for the program to the AWR address in Bangkok, Thailand. I'll give you in a moment. And also to the station your radio is tuned to, WRMI or WWCR or KVOH or Voice of Hope Africa, or to IRRS Italy, or to the AWR relay stations that carry Wavescan. Remember, too, you can send a reception report to the DX reporters when their segment is on the air here in the program. They will also verify with their own colorful QSL card. Your postage and an address label are always appreciated. The email address for AWR QSLs is qsl@awr.org. And the postal address for AWR QSL cards is Adventist World Radio, P.O. Box 234, Prakanong, that's Prakanong, Bangkok 10110, Thailand. Again, that's Adventist World Radio, P.O. Box 234, Prakanong, Bangkok 10110, Thailand. The email address for other correspondence to Wavescan, other than reception reports, is wavescan@awr.org. I'm Jeff White, WRMI in Okeechobee, Florida. Till next week, good listening, everyone.
Hello, this is Bob Zanotti in Bern, Switzerland, and you're listening to WRMI, Radio Miami International, Okeechobee, Florida, USA. Send us your comments and reception reports to info@wrmi.net or by regular mail to WRMI, Post Office Box 526852, Miami, Florida, 33152, USA.
Hello, this is Andy Sennett in Hilversum, the Netherlands. You're listening to WRMI, Radio Miami International, from transmitters in Okeechobee, Florida in the USA, and online via www.wrmi.net. Send us your comments and reception reports to info@wrmi.net or by regular mail to WRMI, P.O. Box 526852, Miami, Florida 33152, USA.
请听西语节目。
Escuchan Radio Taiwán Internacional.
Desde Taipei, Taiwán,